So just picking it up from there, I see you have identified some of the challenges that the marginalized people have. And now, given that you identify as one of those people, among those people who are considered to be marginalized in this country, if you're successful and you become the chairperson of the IBC, what measures then can you put in place through policy that will ensure that these communities, the marginalized communities, are taken care of within the electoral processes, right from the voter registration to voters' education to voting, and their intention at the ballot counting? You say that, the IBC declared results without considering their will, so that we ensure that their will does count as much as it does for other Kenyans that are not considered marginalized.
Thank you very much for that follow-up question. I think as chair of the commission, I will have that rare opportunity for the first time in this country to look at these special groups, because I identify as one of them and I've seen. So for me, I will lead this commission in transforming the way we do things, in coming up with those strategies, in coming up with those mechanisms and approaches. And remember, as I told the panel before, I am from the Human Rights Commission, and therefore my orientation is in human rights. So I will ensure that a rights-based approach to voter registration, voter education, to the polling is employed. And therefore a rights-based approach will guide us in terms of addressing some of these special needs of these special groups. For example, I will look at how do we enhance the participation of people with disabilities in the electoral processes.
Mr. Ethekon, let's talk first about the marginalized.
The marginalized.
And then we come to the disabilities in that order.
For example, measures, for example, such as how do we reach out to these marginalized groups? There are certain common characteristics. The geographical terrain, the location where these people are. Are they accessible? And if not, can we as a commission then use mechanisms such as mobile voter registration units to reach out to those people in those far-flung and marginalized areas with poor network and communication and transport facilities? Mobile voter registration. There is also the challenge of voter education. How do we reach to these people? Again, we can look at, for example, using local media. There are now, luckily, with the advent of devolution, we have counties and many people have invested in vernacular radio stations. Even in Turkana, we have a number of them, Joka FM and all this. So this, as a commission, we work with these vernacular radio stations to reach out to those people who have not gone to school and who can understand the local language, so that then we can disseminate the information and voter education around that. Then during polling, some of the factors that drive the low voter turnout in these areas, you find in some of these areas in northern Kenya, there's a drought, for example, during an election. People would rather concentrate on looking for the basic survival than go and vote, because that's a luxury to them. Areas where there's insecurity. Because of insecurity, people fear to go and vote. And in some cases, I'm told, Chair, with your permission, in some cases we are told, in some regions, during elections that is the season for cattle rustling. Because, you know why? The security are occupied supporting the the election process, providing security around elections. Therefore, once they are reassigned, then you leave a vacuum. And therefore, these cattle rustlers come in. So those are some of the challenges these people. So as a commission chair, I will therefore work around the clock to ensure that we address those security challenges in those areas that suppress their vote. Issues of drought, for example, working with special programs and county governments to ensure that those populations actually can get, some supplies, some food, some relief, emergency relief food, to enable them get something in their tummies so that they can actually be there to exercise their vote and their universal suffrage.